Hi, I'm Dwayne Brown. Tonight on KPBS Evening Edition, the Pentagon drops its ban on women in combat, opening more than 200,000 jobs to female troops.
What does the announcement mean for women and men in uniform? I'm Amitha Sharma. We'll talk with a woman veteran of the Gulf War about what's ahead. And the ACLU is threatening to sue the state over a shortfall in English language instruction in public schools, including some in San Diego. We'll talk with an ACLU attorney about the case. While lawmakers in Washington reintroduce a ban on assault weapons, a California school district has bought high-powered rifles for campus police. KPBS Evening Edition starts now.
KPBS Evening Edition is made possible by Joan and Erwin Jacobs and by
Hi, good evening. Thanks for joining us. An historic move we first told you about here last night for the U.S. military is official, lifting the ban on women in combat. Today's move by Defense Secretary Leon Panetta opens more than 230,000 jobs to women. He says they deserve a chance to do work they're prepared and qualified for.
Every time I've met with troops, reviewed military operations, and talked to wounded warriors, I've been impressed with the fact that everyone, men and women alike, everyone is committed to doing the job. They're fighting and they're dying together.
President Obama says ending the ban will strengthen the U.S. military, and he says it marks another step toward the country's founding ideals of fairness and equality. Panetta says women will have to meet the qualifications to serve in combat roles, and the change won't happen overnight. Sandy Kozel of the Associated Press brings us reactions from military men and women.
Dramatic change is coming for women in the military.
And I remember my drill sergeant was a ranger who had been in sniper school, and I thought, oh yeah, drill sergeant, I want to do that. And then being told, no, sorry, females can't go to sniper school. It's very difficult sometimes to get promotions as a female if you're in a career track that at some point you have to be a male.
It will be up to the military service chiefs to recommend and defend whether women should be excluded for certain demanding and potentially deadly positions such as Navy SEALs. Some of the opposition to putting women in combat has involved questions about physical strength and stamina.
Physically, I think it'll be really hard. Women aren't built the same way as men. And I think there's going to be a lot of discrimination.
As long as they're fit for it and as they go through the same training that we go through as infantrymen, I believe if they go through it, then, why not?
About 14% of the 1.4 million people currently in the U.S. military are women. Sandy Kozel, The Associated Press.
Amitha Sharma is here with a closer look at the role women may play in combat.
Here with me to talk about this milestone in American military history is Tara Jones, founder of the National Military Women Veterans Association of America. Tara, thanks for coming in. You watched the press conference during which Defense Secretary Leon Panetta announced the lifting of the ban. He said that women have been fighting and dying alongside men for years. It's time now to recognize, to acknowledge that reality. What went through your mind when you heard those words, when you saw him speak?
I have to pull back all my tears. I'm new to the scene, but women have advocated for this day for a very, very long time. And I'm very humble that, as the founder of the National Military Women Veterans Association, that I'm the one that is actually kind of on the icing on the cake, so to speak. It's just been a long, long road for so many women that I know, so many women veterans that mentor to me, that speak to me, that talk to me. I got so many calls yesterday and today, and with the inauguration on Monday and the president talking about women and equality, and less than 72 hours later, he's lifted the ban on women serving in combat. So it's very emotional and historic.
Well, women will tell you who've served in the military that they've been on the front lines for years, both in Afghanistan and in Iraq. In fact, 152 women have been killed in combat. What really changes now with the lifting of this ban?
Well, it opens the doors for women of all the branches of service to have the opportunity to be in higher leadership positions, to be able to know that at the end of the day, it's a matter of choice. If they choose to want to be in special forces, or if they choose to want to pursue a career of 25, 30 years, that's something that's open to them, that it's not closed and it's like a crack. You know, it's more than a crack in a glass ceiling. It's like the hammer just went straight through the roof as far as women, this ban being lifted. It's definitely monumental.
Now, there have been some grumblings among military personnel that perhaps, and lawmakers, in fact, our own Republican Congressman Duncan Hunter has questioned the value of this decision about women serving, side by side, especially in elite units. Do you anticipate any problems when it comes to physical strength, mental endurance, and even women fitting in to what's considered a male-oriented culture?
Well, there are going to be challenges, as with anything. You know, that's a given, and there's so many variables. But do those variables fit into the category of not being able to lift that ban? That ban, that had to happen. I mean, it was imminent. You know, so that's a given. Whether or not it has a physical impact or a mental impact, I think that being in the military branches of service and serving in a war, of course, that's a impact on anyone, whether you're male or female. So I think to be pre-agitacious and make statements that, you know, women can't do it, they are doing it. They have done it. They're doing it right now. Women are serving on submarines. That is a vessel that is of combat. So to have them doing it and not have that ban lifted, I mean, they've been doing it forever. So,
what about elite units like the Navy SEALs? Are there some areas that should be off limits to women?
Sky's the limit for girls. You know, this ban is historic, it's monumental, and it represents all women. You know, this is historic for all women overall because it starts with your military women. That's where it starts. And if you see a change within our military culture, you'll see that snowball effect throughout our society.
This lifting of the ban comes less than a year after the removal of the Don't Ask, Don't Tell policy in regards to gays. You know, the military is considered a bastion of tradition. What's happening here? What's going on?
It's all historic, and President Obama and the current administration, Leon Panetta, Joint Chiefs of Staff, they're doing marvelous work. I mean, it brings comfort. I've heard from so many women on active duty from the various branches of service, as well as women veterans, that just feel that this is just a major paradigm shift in the way that our military functions. So we're very humble and very honored.
Tara Jones, thank you so much for speaking to us today.
Thank you.
And we'll have more on the Pentagon's decision tonight on the PBS NewsHour at 7. Governor Jerry Brown says California did the impossible.
2 years ago, they were writing our obituary. Well, it didn't happen. California is back, its budget is balanced, and we're on the move.
The governor delivered an optimistic State of the State address, praising lawmakers for making tough budget decisions and voters for passing temporary tax increases. He says the days of boom and bust budget cycles are over.
Fiscal discipline is not the enemy of our good intentions, but the basis for realizing them.
The governor used his speech to push for several legacy initiatives, including education reform, an upgrade to the state's water system, and high-speed rail. As Japan Airlines continues to study ways to replace its grounded 787 Dreamliners, federal investigators have released some findings about a battery fire on one of the jets. The National Transportation Safety Board says there was a short circuit and an uncontrolled chemical reaction in a lithium-ion battery. It then caught fire, but they haven't found the root cause yet. The head of San Diego's Customs and Border Protection Office says there's been some progress on wait times, but big improvements are still a ways off at the border. Fronteras reporter Joe Reblogo joins us from the news center with more on the state of the ports. First of all, Jill, what kind of traffic did we have at San Diego border crossings in 2012?
A lot of it, and there's actually 6 crossings. That includes in San Diego and the Imperial Valley. 64.1 million passengers and pedestrians, and that's nearly 40% of all the traffic coming into the U.S. along the southwest border. 1.1 million trucks, that's almost 1/4 of all the truck traffic coming in from the southwest border. And local director Pete Flores, he's the field office director in San Diego, said there's also a lot of drug traffic in our region in 2012, more than anywhere else in the nation. 182,000 pounds of marijuana seized, almost 10,000 pounds of methamphetamine. That's more than 70% of the meth seizures along the southwest border.
And many people believe traffic and security concerns are a major reason it takes hours to cross the border. What's the status on speeding up the process?
There are a lot of small things that our authorities are doing constantly, like just educating people to queue correctly. But their bigger efforts include the ongoing renovation and expansion at the San Ysidro border crossing. The first phase of that is supposed to be completed in 2014. There's also a joint Mexico-U.S. pre-inspection station for trucks that's in the works, and that's would hopefully speed up commercial traffic. And then private developers are also working on a cross-border air terminal, so passengers going through the Tijuana airport could cross directly over to the U.S. And that project could break ground by the end of the year.
All right, Fronteras reporter Joe Reblogo. Health officials say burn injuries are on the rise in San Diego and across the country, and they say many of the injuries are happening to children. Rady Children's Hospital and UCSD Health System are joining a national safety campaign. They say 40% of the burns treated in 2010 were actually scald injuries from hot liquids.
The stories we hear from the parents is not that I went to another room, I answered the phone, I answered the doorbell. It's I turned my back to take something out of the oven and the child pulled something off the countertop.
Now, some safety tips from the campaign. Put hot foods at the back of the counter to cool. Cook on the back burner of the stove instead of the front. And use tape to mark a safe zone to keep kids away from the stove. A 29-year veteran of the Navy is leaving the service tomorrow. The USS Kurtz will be decommissioned at Naval Base San Diego. The guided missile frigate captured an Iraqi garrison during Operation Desert Storm and made the largest cocaine bust at sea in history. 12 tons seized during a counter-narcotics deployment. California Senator Dianne Feinstein has introduced a bill to reinstate the federal ban on assault weapons. She wrote the original ban, but it expired in 2004. Feinstein says no one ever challenged the law in court, but there's disagreement about the effectiveness of the ban, and reinstatement is less likely to pass than other measures, such as tougher background checks. Following last month's deadly shootings at a Connecticut elementary school, the National Rifle Association recommended armed guards at all schools to prevent future shootings. A district in San Bernardino County already has weapons for its campus police officers. Fontana Unified bought the rifles last fall before the shootings in Newtown. Fontana police already had sidearms, but the police chief says there was a critical vulnerability.
If there was an active shooter on one of our school campuses that was either equipped with a rifle or some sort of body armor, our sidearm would be ineffective.
If the wrong person gets a hold onto the gun, then there we have another shooter going around with a gun. So kind of like, well, what happens then?
They should get guns, but not as much that they're spending on. Instead, they should use the money towards the schools, like helping get back the counselors, because a lot of us really need them.
Money for the guns came from fingerprint fees. Several other districts in Los Angeles and Orange counties also have rifle programs. Grossmont Union High School District in the East County is responding to accusations of failing to serve students who don't speak English as their native language. Amitha Sharma explains.
California and federal laws require that schools provide students for whom English is a second language appropriate help. But the American Civil Liberties Union says 1/4 of California children, including more than 1,000 in San Diego County, aren't receiving any language assistance. Joining me are David Loy, legal director for the local ACLU, and Cristina Alfaro of San Diego State University's Department of Policy Studies in Language and Cross-Cultural Education. David, so your letter to the State Superintendent of Public Instruction says 20,000 non-fluent English speakers aren't getting any proper instruction in California. The numbers range quite a bit in San Diego County. What do they mean?
Well, they mean that these are numbers that the districts themselves have reported to the state. These are students, English language learners, receiving no services on how to learn English. And the numbers range quite broadly from, one student in one district to almost 1,400 in another.
And 1,400 in which district?
Grossmont Union High School District.
Okay. We spoke with Teresa Kemper, Assistant Superintendent of Educational Services, about the numbers at Grossmont. Here's what she had to say.
What happened is there's a large number of students, and that's that 41% to what you're referring. Those students happen to be our higher performing English language students, English learners. And those students are actually mainstreamed into our regular population. So they're sitting out there not in special English language development classes, but they're sitting out in, freshman English, sophomore English, college preparatory classes, in honors classes, even in AP classes.
David, what did you think of her response?
That may be the case. I would also say, though, that just because students have been mainstreamed, English language learning students have been mainstreamed into other classes, they may still require English language services. They may not be brand new English language learners, but they may still need additional English language support to achieve and perform to their full potential in those mainstream classes. That's something we'd like to explore in greater detail. There may also be issues with uniformity of statewide standards as to when to classify a student from English language learning to English language proficient. But I would, just because a student's in a mainstream class doesn't necessarily mean they no longer need English language services. That's something that has to be addressed on a case-by-case basis.
You sent this letter to the state. What happens next?
Well, the ball's in the state's court right now to respond to the data that come from the state's own website. These are data that are reported by districts to the state, and to account for the fact that the state is simply not doing its job to give the districts the tools they need to do their job, which is to educate students.
Cristina, for the students who are receiving ESL instruction, how adequate is it?
Again, there is no consistency from district to district. I think that there are districts that are doing an amazing job in preparing their teachers to work with English learners, but then there are other districts that really do not have that capacity. But it also goes back to teacher education programs. What are we doing? I take that very personally in my job in preparing teachers. It's what are we doing to prepare teachers that do understand what are the necessary conditions for children that speak English as a second language to do. So it requires a huge shift in the paradigm and the way that we think about working with English learners, number one, and knowing when to use what strategies. So a lot of it has to do with continuous professional development and also just really changing that deficit perspective of working with English learners.
So the disparity in terms of the quality of instruction is simply because there's no uniformity in how teachers are teaching these children, am I correct?
Right, because it's up to the districts, and it goes back to what David was saying with respect to the redesignation. So a child passes the CELT in the advanced. What do? Does it mean that they no longer require services? No, you need to continue to provide those services. So it's a lot of times when teachers or districts, cut off the services that we began to see this huge increase in long-term English learners, which is what we're trying to reduce. So I think it's consistency starting at the university of how do we prepare teachers to work with English learners, and then in districts, consistency is how do we prepare teachers, continue the professional development. For example, right now, one of my real concerns is what's going to happen next year. 46 states have adopted the Common Core state standards. So these standards they're wider, they're higher, they're more rigorous. So if we have this huge achievement gap right now, and next year we are starting this, we need to really focus on what we do.
And we have to wrap it up there. Cristina, David, thank you so much for speaking to us today.
Okay.
Thank you.
La Jolla High School students released white sea bass today into the salty waters of Mission Bay. KPBS Business and Environment reporter Eric Anderson says it's part of a program to boost the population along the Southern California coast.
Students at La Jolla High School have been raising the sea bass since September. They're getting help from the Hub SeaWorld Research Institute, which provided the fish, provided the food, and of course the roadmap to raising the fish. The idea is to give the students a hand-on experience that teaches them about the sustainability of natural resources and the importance of clean water. The fish released today were about 3 inches long. Now, the Hub SeaWorld Research Institute has been stocking the wild with young sea bass for almost 20 years now. Each year they raise about 350,000 juvenile fish and release them up and down the coast. Longtime Hub's researcher Mark Drawbridge says this summer the program is going to release its 2 millionth fish, a major milestone for that program. About 5% of the fish they release do actually get to adult size, and that's about 5 years old, 28 inches long. Adult fish have been recovered up to 13 years after they were released and as far away as 350 miles. Researchers know that because each fish is tagged. Eric Anderson, KPBS News.
La Jolla Playhouse has long supported new projects with its Page to Stage program. Now they're expanding the support with the DNA New Work series. KPBS arts reporter Beth Accomando tells us what audiences can expect.
So we have this urgent need to develop plays from the ground up. We found that as we began to commission artists, that they needed to hear their play for the first time, they needed to hear it read, they needed to hear actors speaking the words. So the DNA series is seeing a play in a very early stage of development. Often it's the first time the words have ever been said, it's the first time an audience has ever taken a peek.
A musical play can take 10 years to fully evolve. That's how long it took Memphis to come together. Now the team that created that hit musical is working on another. Chasing the Song is set in the world of 60s pop music. It's also one of the plays being developed through the Playhouse's DNA New Work series. Christopher Ashley is again directing, from a book by Joe DiPietro and music by David Bryan. But even veterans like them can benefit from the DNA process of workshops, rehearsals, and public performances, says Ashley.
Every play is different and no one ever figures it out all the way. A really experienced playwright can guess some of what an audience is going to feel, but everybody needs to hear their play for the first time. Every playwright needs to meet an audience for the first time.
DNA provides a chance for artists to fine-tune new work.
We are radically changing the story of our musical. Edie and Ginny are going to be actually mother-daughter.
We're doing massive rewrites of this show as it happens. Joe, I think, wrote 70 pages of rewrites, and almost every song has been radically adjusted today. One of the great things about DNA is it doesn't have to be ready yet. What it has to be is promising. So what you're going to watch is bare bones creation of a new play or a new musical, and you're really getting to look behind the curtain at how a new show gets made.
Audiences can get a first glimpse of Chasing the Song this Friday and Saturday night at the Playhouse's Potiker Theater. Beth Accomando, KPBS News.
Keep your umbrella handy. We have more rain in the forecast for tomorrow. The Weather Service is calling for showers all around the county. Most areas will dry out by Saturday, except for the mountains, which will have to wait until Sunday. Weekend temperatures will be in the 50s and 60s through most of the county. You have to rewind the clock quite a few years, but there was a time in our past when winemaking was an industry in a place that might surprise you. Ken Kramer takes us back for a look in tonight's About San Diego.
You look at this part of Poway, and unless you know the story, you wouldn't guess what a man named Giuseppe Iavelli used to have right down there.
By about 1918, he had purchased all the land that you see down behind us, the 65 acres, and that's when he started the Poway Winery.
That's right, the Poway Winery. If you've never heard of it, that's because there hasn't been a bottle of it made for about 70 years.
Back in 1930, you would have seen this valley was 40 acres of vineyard and another 25 acres of citrus and peach trees.
Lucille McHugh's grandfather and then her father cultivated the Poway soil, pruned the vines, and picked big, juicy muscat grapes. Took them over to show on Grape Day in Escondido every year and pressed them and bottled them right in Poway at the Poway Winery.
And they produced wine throughout the 20s and the 30s, and even during Prohibition they were making wine.
Politicians and business leaders from San Diego, it is said, were regular customers. And remember, this was dry land farming. The well they had was just for drinking water.
Whatever the rain amount was for the year, that was the amount of water that the grapes received, and that reflected in the harvest that they would have.
So what happened to the Poway Winery? World War II. It stopped operating when Carl Iavelli, Lucille's dad, enlisted in the Army Air Corps, was shot down, taken by the Germans as a prisoner of war. Carl survived it all, but the winery was now history. Today, where once there was a farmhouse, a well, and rows of grapes, there are now rows of homes, and hardly anybody remembers what used to be here. What a remarkably different place this part of Poway was before it became developed. How good the soil was, and how it blessed hard work with good wine.
A very sweet, wonderful time. I spent my childhood in that area before there were all houses there, just around the ranch in the vineyard. And we were out away from, there was no one else around, but there was never any fear of danger, and we just enjoyed the area for its beauty.
Like the Poway Winery, now just a memory about San Diego.
If you want to watch more of Ken's stories about San Diego, his half-hour show can be seen tonight and every Thursday night at 8 right here on KPBS. And, of course, you can find tonight's stories on our website and download the KPBS app, all at kpbs.org. Thanks for joining us. You have a great night.